Are you working with someone you can't stand? We've all been there. Working with people I want to punch in the throat has been called relatable and laugh out loud hilarious. Read the stories about all the crazy people Jen Mann has worked with over the years. Find out who she wants to punch in the throat. Working with people I want to punch in the throat is now available everywhere books are sold.
Hi, I'm Denise Grover-Swank.
And I'm Jen Mann.
And we are two Midlife Mommas.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome. All right. Well, we should just jump right into this topic.
Yes, we should.
Yes, we should. I don't.
I don't want to.
So today's topic is saying yes to opportunities and things, and then giving yourself the permission to say, I don't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Saying yes and saying no.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's several books out there about leaning in, saying yes, but then there's also the power of no. And,
yeah.
And I just don't think you can just always be one way or another.
Yeah. You have to have the freedom to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Without apologizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll lean in when I want to, bitch.
Okay. So did you used to have trouble saying, we'll start with the yes. Did you used to have trouble saying yes to things?
Well, I think my thing is yes, I would always say yes to stuff because I felt like, especially like when I was younger, I didn't get asked to do a lot.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would say yes to stuff even though I had no idea what I was going to do.
Gotcha.
Which in the long run turned out to be okay.
Right.
You know, but after a while I became like, oh, it's okay, Jen will do it.
Oh.
You know, it was that kind of thing. Like, just ask Jen, she'll do it. She never says no. Like, she'll say yes.
Okay.
And so then that's where it became a problem, and then I became so far no. And, you know, I just shared something yesterday on Facebook about, to me, it's about saying yes, I think, because I'm writing this book about Midlife Bites, and I'm writing this chapter about, like, mostly about making friends and stuff, too, but I feel like you have to invite people to do stuff.
Yes.
And then that person has to say yes to you.
Yeah.
You know, like so many times I find that if I put myself out there, there's so many women who are like, oh, I'm saying no right now. Like, I'm giving myself permission to say no right now. And I'm sort of thinking, like, you can't even say yes to, like, coffee? Like,
right. Right, exactly.
And so then that kind of hurts my feelings.
Right. Yeah, but that's kind of weird that they would say that to you.
Well, so, you know,
you don't want to have coffee with someone who would turn you down like that.
I think so, but I think that, or, you know, no, we're not coming, you know, no, we don't do things, you know, that's the other thing is like, no, we always, every Tuesday night we do this, you know, no, we can't do that. And I'm sort of like, really, it's the one night I'm in town, like I'm coming all the way from Kansas City to your city and you can't say yes that to come to see me that night. And, you know, that's more of my thing too, is that we get so like stuck in our yeses and our nos. But I had shared this thing on Facebook yesterday about inviting people to join your circle. That no one, you know, some people will say like, oh, she seems fine. She probably wants to be by herself. And that person is too shy to ask to join. Right. And so people will invite. And I find myself doing that too, though. A lot of times because I am that person sort of holding up the wall. And then someone will say, like, join us. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm okay. And then I realize later, like, I should have said yes. That was stupid of me.
Right, yeah.
And I'm just being weird. Yeah. So that's where I get it.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's hard. Like, we're all kind of in our own little worlds, especially, like, with friendships and saying yes. You know, we kind of expect people to invite us when we could actually be the one inviting other people too. Yeah. So, it's funny because like, my daughter has got a really good friend at her school. She's in high school, and I had never met her parents, and so I met them at this college night thing that they had, and so her mom and I just totally hit it off, and I was like, we should hang out and have a girls' night sometime, and her mom was like, oh my gosh, I really like that, and so like, you know, there was a time I wouldn't have done that. Yes. I would have been like, oh, I'm not sure she'd want to like hang out with me, you know, and so I would be like, oh, I'd think, oh, she's not gonna want to, or if she says yes, she's just gonna say that, but I could tell, like, she was like super enthusiastic about it.
Or if I'm on the flip side of that, I'm like, oh, she just invited me because like she feels like she should, or,
right?
You know, like I should just say no and like let her down, like, let her go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, well, and I'm trying to say yes more to my kids too.
Yes.
And my husband, because I find that, I was saying yes to so many things that I was gone all the time.
Right.
That I was the PTO president. I was running these things, and I was doing all these, running all the carnivals, and I'm, putting out books, and I'm running all these things that I'm saying yes to. But they were just like, what about us?
Right.
You keep saying
so
no
even
to
though you're
us.
like in the PTO and you're running the school carnivals for your kids, you're not present for your kids.
Yeah. And so a few years ago, I blogged about it that we decided we would do yes day. Like, we wouldn't tell our kids we were doing it, though, because we didn't want them to go crazy.
Yeah, take advantage of it.
Yeah, we just woke up one summer day, and my husband and I were like, okay, today's the day. Like, neither one of us had to work that day.
Right.
So I was like, today's the day.
And you were in a good mood.
Yeah, exactly. We were feeling generous and flush with cash. And so we were just sort of like, all right, we'll see what the kids like. And I was like, well, let's see how it goes, And so we went out there to see the kids, and it was, I don't even remember what they started their day with, but I think it was, can we go roller skating today? And we were like, yes. And, and then we went roller skating, and then it was like, can we go get lunch at Sonic? Yes. And it wasn't until about like 2/3 of the day through the day they started acting like total assholes, though, because
they figured out that you were saying yes to everything.
Yeah. And they were kind of being such assholes. And then this family came over. We were at a park that they'd wanted to go to. It was like really far away. I think it was over here even. And,
wow.
And so, but it's a park they'd gone to one time in their lives, and they'd remembered it, and they wanted to go back to it. And so we've gone back to this park, and they're playing on the park, and the husband and I were kind of pissed at this point. We're like, all right, that's it. Like, yes day ends when this, this is the end of it. And they're off playing, and this woman comes by, and she's offering us water. It was a hot day, and she's like, would you like some water? And we said, thank you. And she gives us some water, and she said, we're giving out water today at the park in memory of our child who died. Oh. And she said our daughter died, but she loved this park, and so once a year we come out and we give out water in her memory. And I was like, oh my God, I'm an asshole. And so, so my children come running over, and they're like, can we go to Worlds of Fun, which is like, an amusement park.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes. Can we? Like, I don't know. And so after that, once I figured out, like, now that's the big joke, is that every day they're like, is today a yes day? Because we've never done it again.
Yeah. That would probably be my limit. Yeah. My problem would be with as many kids as I have is they would never agree on the same thing. They can't even agree on the same dinner.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
no, I'd have to do one at a time now. And so now I do try to like spend my time. Like, my daughter makes fun of me because my son, he's the one who doesn't really want to hang out with me that much. She hangs out with me all the time, but he doesn't. So if he, the other day he was like, Mom, do you want to go catch Pokemon with me? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And my daughter was like, what? Are you kidding? Like, I asked you to do something. I'm like, shush. I'm like, my child wants to hang out with me.
I know, right? Yeah.
So I try to say yes, but then, and then I'm trying to say no to like work stuff, really. Because that's what I think where I say yes a lot.
Yes.
I think like if I'm sure your inbox is full of stuff where it's always like, hey, can you just do this for me? And you want to be helpful, and you want to try to do everything or join all the things that people are inviting you to join.
Right.
And I've had to say no.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like, it's one more thing. And it's like, I used to tell myself, oh, it's just this one little thing. But then they all just totally pile up until there's this huge heap of things that you're so overwhelmed you can't even you feel like you're drowning in it. So yeah, I've gotten better about saying no to a lot of stuff that people, and I'm sorry, and I feel bad, and
Well, it's like this week, in fact, I got an email from somebody wanting me to do something, and the dates that they'd given me, I have a lot of other stuff going on, and I went back to her and I just said, I wouldn't be a benefit. I wouldn't be any good to this because I have a lot of other things, so you would not get my full attention. You would not get my full participation. You'd be irritated with me probably. Right. And so, I'd rather we get something in the spring. Like, my spring is open. Like, let's plan something for spring and do it then. Yeah. And then that way I can have it and I can work towards it, and I'll be a much better person to work with then. Right. Yeah. And that seems to work better.
And was she open to that?
Because it's all over email, it's hard to tell, what tones are, because I did notice that the reply email I got back was very short and sweet. So in my mind, I always think that means bad, but it could just be someone on her phone.
I do that too.
Making a quick message.
Yeah, sometimes if I send an email message or response to someone, I write it out, and then I have to go back and add fluff to it. Yeah. Because I'm like, Wow, that sounds really short and tender.
And I don't mean it to be, but a lot of times I'm just in the middle of something and I just want to get a note off real quick because I'm also that person who forgets to reply. Like I'll say,
yes, I'll read it and I'm like, oh, well, I literally just sent it 30 seconds ago. That looks totally weird if I answer it now. And then I don't answer it.
No, in my head, like you'll send me a text, you're like, hey, Jen, do you want to do something? I'm like, yes. And then I never reply to you. And then you're like, Jen, did you want to...
What did you want to do?
Did you want to do that? Or because I never heard back from you. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, but then there's other things like I'm glad I said yes when you emailed me and asked me if we could do a podcast together.
Yeah, you did.
Like, this was a good yes to say yes to. Yeah. So I think that's the thing, too, is that when I do say yes, when I have the time and the bandwidth to put into it, it ends up being a really good thing. But I think for self-care, we've talked a lot about self-care on this podcast. Yeah. And I think that for self-care, though, sometimes you also have to say no.
Yeah, definitely.
Like listening, Denise was just telling me during our little break between filming, she was telling me about all her projects she has coming up. And it's like, I was like, I'm exhausted listening to you. Like her publishing schedule is insane. Yeah. And so I don't know when you say yes to anything because it sounds like you're just working all the time.
Well, I used to say yes to all that other stuff too. And
So you said no to sleep.
Yeah. I used to get invited to do a lot of group takeovers, and I just found,
I don't know what that means.
So like a group, like an authors group or readers group would invite me to come in for an hour or so and like introduce myself, and then it's usually involves a giveaway, but usually you have to create multiple posts to put in there, and then the cost of the giveaway, and then the time you have to stand there and answer, and then after answer people's questions. I mean, that's obviously if you want to make it work. But I just found that they often didn't. The investment of my time wasn't worth the return that I was getting, and I feel like a bitch, telling most of those takeovers no. But I just I've got to put my time in what's most effective for me. So yeah. So.
Well, and I think anybody who has a business has to look at their time that way. That it's just like we all. What was it? Beyonce says, "I have just as many hours as in the day as you do."
That's right. Yeah.
And look at what Beyonce is getting done and what I'm not getting done.
Yeah, she also has nannies and housekeepers and cooks.
Yeah, I'd like to tell myself if I had all that, maybe I could say yes to more things, but I don't know. I'm still kind of not going to do that probably.
Yeah.
No, those takeover things, I've never done that, but I do get invited a lot to speak at podcasts or come out and speak at groups, and I have to really think about is this going to be beneficial? Is this going to be a good way to spend my time? Because if we are making a podcast or speaking to a group or taking over a Facebook group, that's time that we're not creating content. Exactly. That's time that we're not writing, and our deadlines get pushed, and we're working later into the night. And so that's the hard part.
Sometimes I'll say yes to things that I know are not going to have any kind of monetary reward because I want to. I really want to.
But two Midlife Mommas.
Yeah, but sometimes you still have to turn those down because just of time. There's only so much time. And there's no rhyme or reason. It just depends on when it hits my inbox and how overwhelmed I'm feeling at the time. And
so true.
And I'm always so honored to be asked or invited or whatever. And then as we all know by now, I'm ruled by guilt. So then I'll feel a little guilty that I get told no. So...
Well, and I've gotten a lot better about just sort of, I have a friend who has, I shouldn't even out her, I won't say her name so that way in case you do get one of her form letters, but she has she's so organized that she has standard replies formatted already in her draft file. So because I'm if I'm going to reply to an email, it's going to be me just saying what I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But she has standard replies. If they ask her for this, it's her top 10 questions or whatever. And she just drops them in and sends it off. And so
that's really smart.
She's really super organized and smart. But then people feel she's spending time with them, which is nice. But I've just never taken the time to do that. But I've thought about it. But I'm like you. I either turn it down. Sometimes I don't even respond to some of the requests I get. If I don't know them, I don't feel as guilty.
I get a lot of emails from companies trying to solicit me, and I'm like, I didn't invite you into my inbox. No. I don't owe you a response. And then they keep sending you, I sent you this. You haven't responded yet. I don't owe you a response.
Right. I'm just following up on the 8 emails I sent you last week.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If I was interested, I would have actually responded.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing too. Yeah, if it's a reader or something like that, I try to respond.
Yes, I do too. I try to answer all readers.
Yeah.
Occasionally some slip through the cracks though.
Yeah. And only if it's a pleasant email.
Yeah, if they're ugly to me, I used to actually respond to those and say, I'm sorry. And like, no, I'm like, you don't deserve my time.
Yeah, see, that was something I had to say no to because I used to poke the bear. I love that Denise responds with "I'm sorry" because I respond with "eat a bag of dicks," and so like fuck you, it is too funny. And so, but I had to stop doing that because it just there just is nothing like as I get older, it's not as much fun to fight with people anymore.
Right.
Like it's
just exhausting.
It just drains my energy. Yeah. Exactly. It drains my energy, and so now I'm just like ugh, delete but I used to be really determined to have the last word. So I had to start saying no to that.
Or you just say the last word and then block.
Exactly. Well, that was the thing the other day. Somebody was like fighting with me on my Facebook page and she left a really mean message and then she blocked me. And it made me so mad that
because you couldn't get the last word in.
I was like, oh, bitch, that's my move. So touche, lady. But so I've tried to become a kinder, gentler Jen, but I'm working on it.
We're still working on it. So that's a thing you said yes to.
I guess that's a yes. Yeah, yes to kindness and no to fighting with people as much as I used to.
I used to just automatically turn down a lot of new experiences if they like scared me or whatever. Yeah? So I'm like after Daryl died, I realized that life is short and I needed to start. Like there was a lot of things I wanted to do, and then it was a lot of stupid like insecurities and stupid fears would hold me back. And so I started saying, are you scared to do this? Yes. Is it dangerous? No. Then you say yes. Mm-hmm. I was trying to like push myself out of my comfort zone. So I did several things that like were a little scary to me, but then I survived them, and then I was like, hey, that wasn't so bad, and it totally like boosted my confidence. So, and there were stupid things like I flew into Seattle, and my hotel was downtown, and I looked to see if there was any public transportation, and there was a train, but it was like 2 blocks from the hotel. And so I was, for some stupid reason, I was like totally intimidated at the fact of taking that train down to the stop and then walking 2 blocks with my suitcase to the hotel. And I'm like, there is absolutely no reason not to do this. It's cheaper and you're going to do it. Yeah. And it was like I said, it was like a stupid thing. And it was like really early on before I like really like started taking ownership of, hey, I can do this, girl power, whatever. So, yeah.
See, my thing is as I get older, I get more afraid.
Really? Yeah.
Like when I was young, I did everything.
See, I'm like, I get more anxious about things now, like kind of stupid things. So.
I'm super anxious about like people getting hurt or failing at something.
Yeah.
Or like that's a lot of what holds me back a lot of times. Like if I'm saying yes to something, is that I'm like, well, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if I've wasted? Maybe it's because I feel like my time is short. Like as I'm getting older, that I don't have near as much time to waste on frivolous, silly projects that I'm going to fail at.
Right.
Or if it's just me just being stupid. Like, I don't know.
Well, and see, like I've said yes to a lot of things professionally the last year or so that I'm like regretting now. So now I'm like, because it was a waste of time. Yeah. And it was a waste of energy that I could have put into something that could have done better, advanced me in my career better. And so now I like really stop and think about it. It's not an automatic yes. It's like I actually like I found more middle ground. Like I'm like weighing out the pros and cons and is it worth it or is it not?
See, and I think that's where I am too now. That's why like when we first started talking about this podcast, we were saying like the power of yes. And then I was like, but also the power of no.
Right.
because I think that's the thing, especially professionally starting out, I said yes to everything.
Yes. Like I did too. Like every interview that came my way, because I was like super flattered that anybody wanted to talk to me. Right.
And like your podcast has 5 listeners, I would be honored. Thank you.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Thank you. Your podcast is all about science, but I write humor. Sure, I'd love to be on it. So I would said yes to everything, and because I was of the belief that exposure is good.
Yeah.
But I think also though it's. The experience of everything we've done too, though, even when we've failed or when we've wasted time on silly stuff that didn't work out or what have you, I feel like I have to tell myself that has made me who I am.
Right.
And I have to look at it that way.
And I used to be like the queen of try anything.
Yeah.
Like I'll try any kind of marketing thing, and there's a lot of them failed, and but some of them were hugely successful. But I also don't feel like I like wasted a lot of time on them. You know, it was just a little short bit of time, and then I moved on. No, this isn't working. Time to move on. Where I feel like I've had some bigger projects over the last year that I spent a lot of time on and was not worth the effort. And so I'm like trying to be much more diligent and put a lot more thought into what I'm doing and what I'm scheduling into even like my writing schedule.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think too, like, you know, one of the episodes we talked about toxic relationships and cutting friends out and things like that. And that was something that was really hard for me to do, in that I felt like I didn't want to be friendless.
Right.
But yet they were dragging me down.
Right.
You know, like it was just too much work to be their friend. And so I had to start saying no to that. But then I also had to put myself out and say yes to other things to make new friends.
Right.
Because that was the other problem I was having, was that I was kind of alone.
Right.
But I needed to find people. I just didn't like the people who I had.
Right.
And so that's been, to me, you know, I regret some of the time I've spent maybe on some relationships in the past.
Right.
I think that's really what keeps me up at night, is when I go through like awkward things I've done or weird things I've done. You know? Yeah. And I'm always just sort of like, oh, I should not have done that. I should not have wasted all that time with that person. But I guess you just have to keep moving and not worry about it.
Right. And just realize that that's part of like your experience. And like you said, it made you who you are now. Yeah. And now make smarter choices.
Do you make a list of things that you want to do this year? Do you ever do like we're coming up on the end of the year now? I keep seeing those memes. What is it? 3 more months left or something in this decade?
No, I usually like have it's weird. I have like a theme for the year.
Okay.
So like 1 year the theme was balance. I was totally working too much and not giving enough time to my children. So I really focused on balancing work and family that year. I didn't have one for this year, but like 1 year it was like being productive, like being smarter about like time management and not spending so much time on Facebook and like just being smarter about how I was using my time. So I tend to do that, and sometimes I'll have like a professional goal. Like I wanted to hit the USA Today list 1 year, and so like how am I going to make that happen? So so like I would come up with a plan. Well, how am I? Okay, it just isn't going to happen. So how are you going to make that happen?
Right.
So,
yeah. You can't just sit here and wish and hope.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Do you have a word yet for 2020?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna do
sneaking up on it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. As we get closer, we're going to have to do a podcast about that.
Yeah. And I found it was really good. Like, it made me really focus on, and like, I'm much more balanced now than I was, say, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I still try to incorporate that. I'm still thinking, okay, well, Sunday when, I was trying to get ready to turn in a book, and my daughter's like, you're a workaholic. But I'm like, but we went to the apple orchard yesterday and spent 4 hours there. So,
because I said yes to that.
Yeah. So like, I'm working now, but then also last week I was at 3 of Ryan's football games and Jenna's football games and doing family things. And then like, sometimes I'll bring my work with me. And I didn't bring my work with me those times. So, I'm like balancing. Yeah. So.
Well, and I think that's the yes and no, is that, you're picking and choosing what you're going to do with your precious few hours that you get every day.
Exactly. Yeah. And like Sunday, like all my kids were home and we ended up cooking dinner. And so like, it wasn't like I was just like, oh, y'all go do your thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, my children want me to, they want to be the center of my universe, or and so they want me to give them all their attention. I'm like, that's not the way it works. So you want to go to the apple orchard and pay all that money for a bag of apples
that we picked ourselves?
Yeah, mom's gotta write a book.
Someone to pay for these damn apples.
That's right. Oh my god, that was like an expensive trip. By the time we ate lunch, and because we ate lunch there, and then the apples, and then they had like apple cider donuts. Oh my god. Yeah, because I told you that I ate like junk in the last podcast. Yeah, that was all part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was their yes day. They should just take it.
That was their yes day.
So I took you to the apple orchard.
Yeah, because we drove to Kansas. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Which apple orchard?
Cider Hill.
I didn't even know we had, because that's so funny, because when our kids were little, they used to go on field trips to an apple orchard, and we came to Missouri.
Oh my god.
I didn't even know Kansas had one.
Yeah, this one was actually kind of fun. They have like a wagon that takes you out to the fields. Like we went to one a couple years ago, and you had to walk out there. It was no big deal. It wasn't that far. But they give you like 3 trees you can pick from.
Oh, wow.
3 trees, and the rest of them are all like roped off. It was ridiculous. So this one, like you can pick anywhere that's not roped off. So they have some trees, and then like they have all these varieties, so they all come into season at different times.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it just depends on what apples are available.
And were they delicious?
They were. I got introduced to a new variety called wine sap.
Oh, of course.
And it's used. I know, right? They use it a lot to make apple cider.
Oh, okay.
And it's really sweet.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, so my kids absolutely love that variety. So
that's funny.
That worked out. Yeah.
No, my kids, that's the one thing I will say no to. We're not going to go pick apples in the apple orchard. Sorry, kids.
Well, and then my daughters took all these pictures.
Of course.
Then Ryan took a picture. And then I realized there's literally only one picture of me, and that is me taking a selfie of my daughters taking a picture of my son.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's like a whole nother thing, is like you gotta put yourself in the photos.
Yeah.
I read something. There was a viral blog a few years ago, and I'm sorry, I know it was one of my friends who wrote it, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who you are. Tell me, I'm sorry. But it was all about how she looked through her photos and realized that she was never in her photos. Yeah. And that part of it was herself, though, that she didn't feel like she looked good. Yeah. She felt well. I'm not dressed. I'm too heavy. I'm too this. I'm too that. Yeah. And so now you have to start saying yes to being in the photos.
Yeah. And I actually I think I remember when that was going viral, and I really thought about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is right. I'm like, oh, well, when I lose 10 pounds, I'll be in the photos more. And I'm like, you're like not in a lot of photos. You need to start owning this.
See, and that's my husband. He never wants to be in the photos. Like, it's always, he'll take photos. Like, if we're traveling, he'll take photos of like the kids and maybe some with me, because I'll finally say, like, because after that post, I was more aware of it too. And so I was like, wait, put me in. And so I get into photos, and he's never in there. And so I'm always like, get in. Yeah. Take some pictures with you too. Yeah. Because I think those are it's like, yes, we remember going to the apple orchard, but it sucks that you're not in any of the photos.
I know, right? Yeah. And then I was like, thought about posting that photo on social media so it actually lives in posterity.
Yeah, you should.
And then I didn't. So and then it was days later, I'm like, well, that was lame. I can't post a photo.
That's not true. I
was at the apple orchard 3 days ago.
Just pretend like you went this weekend.
There you go.
I have a friend who told me that she took her daughter to the beach, and I don't know, I'm thinking of this now. This has nothing to do with our topic, but she took her daughter to the beach, and her daughter took 6 bathing suits and changed her clothes 6 different times and pretended like it was the whole week at the beach.
Oh my god!
Because she was like, "Mom, I just want to get the pictures out of the way." Like, it was just. Like, that's kind of either genius or sad. I don't know which it is.
That's hilarious.
Yes. So you can just put it up on Friday and be like, taking my kids to Apple Orchard again tomorrow.
There you go.
No one will know. No one will know.
Now they will.
Yeah. They will. Too late now, though. If you put it up today, it doesn't matter. This podcast will come out weeks from now.
That's true.
You'll have so many other photos between now and then. I'll never know.
There you go. Okay, so we're running out of time. We didn't talk about an I don't list. So do you have a list of things that you don't do?
Yes.
Unapologetically don't do.
Yeah, this was another blog post I saw yesterday or today that people were sharing, that this woman was talking about all the things that she doesn't do, and she is proud not to do it. And I was reading her list, and a lot of it is very similar. She says she doesn't do laundry. I don't do laundry. My husband does most of the laundry. I do my own, and like our kids do their laundry. So I don't do laundry. I don't buy anything anymore that needs to be ironed. I hate to iron. Yeah. And so I don't do that. I really don't. I don't always wear makeup.
Yeah.
Like I have friends or family who won't go even to the grocery store without makeup.
Right. I used to be that way. Not anymore.
Yeah. I don't wear makeup all the time. What else don't? What about you? What else don't? What do you don't do?
I never really thought about it, that a don't list.
Yeah, I like it though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of things that I don't do. Like I totally won't do. Like, nope, don't ask me. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, there's nothing that, like, it's like a hard line in the sand unless it's, I don't do drugs. But I mean, but I'm thinking like she was talking about how her house is not, that she doesn't clean up every time friends come over.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess I can figure out a way to put it into why I don't. But I don't worry so much about people coming over in my house being a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, this is us. This is just the way it is. I'm a very busy person. I'm just a single parent. My kids are very busy. And I wish our house was totally picked up, but it's not. Right. And I'm not gonna apologize. I used to, when people come over, I'd be like horrified. Yeah. And now I'm like, you know what? This is the way it is. Like, how we are. It used to be worse.
You have no idea how far we've come. Well, that's true. Yeah, because like when they were little, especially, it was really, my house was just a disaster. Yeah, and now it's now it's just piles of clutter everywhere. And so I don't declutter my house. And
there you go. I do sometimes. Like, I get in moods for it. And so like right now, my bathroom and my closet are just an utter mess. Like, it looks like a bomb went off with clothes and stuff. And this morning I was feeling guilty. I was like, well, this is your week off. Usually, like, this is when you like organize things. Like, I finish a book and I tend to like go through the house and like, but I'm not feeling that organization. And I'm like, I feel a little guilty about it. And I'm like, no, it's fine. You'll feel it in another week or so, and then we'll get it all cleaned up. No one's in here, and if someone walks in, they probably shouldn't be here anyway. Right? And who cares?
Yeah. Well, what is it? Like, if you're a friend, you're not going to judge me. Yeah. So I don't. Well, and I don't do anything like. I don't throw elaborate parties. I know you used to, but I don't. I never did. I don't throw elaborate parties. I don't. And I don't make a big deal about half birthdays or any of that stuff.
No, and I don't do Elf on the Shelf.
Oh, see, I still do Elf on the Shelf.
I don't, yeah. No.
Yeah.
My children bought an Elf on the Shelf last year, and they started moving it around my bathroom.
I haven't decorated for Christmas in a while. Like, that was a don't for a long time. I didn't want to do Christmas. It was a pain, and it seemed like I always had a deadline.
I'm either in the mood for it, like I'm in the mega mood for it, and I put up 4 or 5 Christmas trees, or I'm like not in the mood at all, and then we're lucky to get 1 Christmas tree at all. So
there you go. All right, so let us know what your don't list is. We're kind of interested in hearing what you don't, what you'd add to your don't list. If you have a don't list, and if you don't, you should start one.
Create one. Yeah, I should actually create a don't list.
I know.
Yeah, maybe let's create don't list, and then we can post it.
Yeah,
when
we'll do that.
This podcast.
Yeah,
so.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great week.
Don't forget to subscribe and get us in your, I don't know, it's not your inbox, but what are you?
Yeah, it just pops up on the notifications on my phone.
There you go.
That a new episode's
Get us in your phone.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye. Hi, Denise here. I know you're sad because the podcast episode is over, and now you have to wait an entire week to hear us again. But guess what? You don't have to wait. You can listen to one of our audiobooks. Like to listen to true crime podcasts? I've got several mystery series to choose from. Or maybe you prefer to listen to podcasts about The Bachelor. Check out one of my rom-com series. You can find these audiobooks and many more at Audible, Apple Audiobooks, or check out my website, denisegroverspank.com, and click on Audiobooks in the menu at the top. Happy listening!